Hey guys, so I'm going to walk you through your math lesson. I hate not to be with you all this morning, but hopefully watch this video, and if you have questions, just let me know, okay? So we're going to go to a classroom, and that will lead us to our virtual classroom. In here, you'll find the problem of the day, you'll find your homework, and you'll find the math lesson. Oh, I lost it. Let me get in present mode. It's a lot easier that way. I'll kind of show you some things on here too. Okay, so the problem of the day, click on that. And he has a problem of the day. It says, how many hundreds does she have? Use your place value chart to figure this out. Just do the best you can. And then submit it, turn it in to me. Your homework. It says for homework, complete pages 299 to 300. If you want to go back to our main classroom page, just hit on this arrow and it'll take you right there. And then these are there's some base 10 blocks here that you can use. There's also some in our lesson. Might not go over the whole thing, but I'll get us started so you have a good idea of how to think through this tomorrow. So we're going to start talking about place value. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to start in our hundreds place. So our essential question is, how can I use place value? So I'm going to start this conversation because it might be a little bit difficult if you're at home. So we use place value in everything we do. We use place value when we count up money. We use place value when we add, subtract. Helps us later on when you get to decimals. Okay, we use place value in almost everything we do. We use it when we order numbers, when we compare numbers. We're going to be talking about that a lot this probably next week and a half, is all the ways that we can use place value to help us organize our numbers. Oh, I keep doing that. This video doesn't work. I need to put this thing on there. So this is why I want you to have this conversation. We did this last week, or this week. Whoever's at home with you, if you have an adult home with you, if you're a grown-up, if you have brother, sister, is 100 the same as 10 tens? Do you think 100 is the same as 10 tens? My place value stuff out as you're thinking about that question. Tens here, but my hundreds are. If you ask the grown-up at home with you, or if you have brother or sister. Trying to find my tens. I wonder if they're in this box right here or with the dice. And they are. Is it all just tens? Huh. I have misplaced my hundreds. That is so strange. I wonder where all those went to. Sorry, I have some over here. Okay, well, we'll do this virtually since I can't find my tens and my hundreds. I can only find my tens. So is 100 the same as 10 tens? What do you think? Make sure you're talking to them at home. We can look at that in a second. Just a few minutes, I'll show you what I mean by that virtually. Oh, right now. So you're going to click on the base 10 blocks to go use interactive tools. So I'm going to use this right here. And it's going to take me to some interactive tools. Okay, so here is 100. Is 100 the same thing as 10 tens? That is the question that I'm asking you. And we know, remember I always talk about, if you don't know what to do, start with what you do know. Start simple. What do you know? Well, I know how much I might not know how many tens are in 100, but I know that there's 10 ones in a 10. I know I can count on my fingers by 1 to get to 10. So instead of counting by ones, we're going to start counting by tens and see how many tens does it take me to get to 100. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. How many tens are in 100? How many times does I count on my fingers by tens to get to 100? Now, do you think 10 tens are the same thing as 100? Go back to that question if you didn't quite get finished with it and thinking about it more. So our question here is use objects to show different ways to represent 100. So we just did that with our base 10 blocks. We have 10 tens equal 100. We could have 2 hundreds and add 10 more tens. We could take away all that and count by ones. We need 100 ones, right? If 10 ones makes 1 10 and 20 ones makes 2 tens, 30 ones make 3 tens, eventually 100 ones make 10 tens, which also make 100. So play around with that. Play around with making different types of hundreds with ones and tens. Same thing here. We can use base 10 blocks to model different ways to make 100. So on a paper, if you get your whiteboard, it's kind of an easier way to do it. Get our whiteboard, and I want to make different ways to model 100. It's that same type of question. We'll draw a place value chart. I have hundreds, tens, ones. If I have 100, I can draw 10 tens. If I have 200s, I can draw 20 tens. And I can keep going on and on and on. All right. So now, let's get back to our book lesson. Let's investigate this a little bit. It says Louis has a bag of jelly beans. He sorts the jelly beans into groups by color. There are 100 red jelly beans, 50 green jelly beans, and 50 yellow jelly beans. How many jelly beans does he have in all? Write how many hundreds, tens, and ones. So I have 100. I'm going to write this on my board so I can transfer it over. I'm going to say red equals 100. And then green represents 50. And yellow represents another 50. Okay, so I'm going to draw my place value chart. Always want to draw my place value chart. This helps me out. And I have hundreds, tens, and ones. Well, I have 100. And I have 5 tens. I have 50 green, 5 tens. And I have 50 yellow. So I have 100, 10 ones. 10 tens, sorry. 10 tens. Now I know 10 tens makes 100. We just did that. I know 10 tens make 100. So I'm going to move that sucker over there. 10 tens make 100. So I have, it says it wants to know how many hundreds I have. I have 2 hundreds because I made that 10 tens into 100. So I have 2 hundreds, but I have 20 tens. And I have 200 ones because 100 is the same thing as 20 tens. Sorry. That's why I was messing up. 200s is the same as 20 tens. Okay? Because if I was, let's look at it this way. If I was, here's my answer, I have 200s. Well, I have 200s, but I have, if I want to know how many tens I have, remember, this makes 100. That makes 100. 10 more would make 200s. So if I count these up, I have 10, 20. I have 20 tens. And then if I went all the way over here, I have 200 ones. Because if 10 ones makes a 10, then 100 ones make 100. If 10 ones make a 10, then 100 ones make 100. 100. Which means I have 200s, 20 tens, and 200 ones. 200 ones. Go ahead and play with that. Give yourself a number. Make up a number. And tell me how many hundreds, tens, and ones you have. Tell it to the grown-up that's near you or your friend that's near you. Okay, now we're on page 295 in your Unit 1 workbook. Now we're on page 295 of your Unit 1 workbook. It says, color each stamp yellow and count the stamps by ones. So we're going to color each stamp, every single stamp on there. You're going to color each stamp yellow and count the stamps by ones. Once you do that, circle groups of 10 in green to show tens. Count by tens to 100 with a classmate. Circle 100 stamps in red to show 100. So we need to get my colored pencils out here. A little difficult. We gotta circle each one. We gotta color each one yellow. Okay. All right. We'll count as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it told me every time I get to 10, I can circle a group of 10 in green. That's 10. All right. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, that's another 10. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There's another one. Another 10. I got 3 10s so far. I have 31s and 3 10s. See, I'm circling that in green. I have 31s and 30. I have 31s and 3 10s. Now I want you to finish doing that and see how many 10s do you have? How many 110s do you have? And how many hundreds do you have? So you finish doing that. Pause the video to do that. So right here we can see we have 100 ones equals 10 10s equals 100. So 200 200s equal 20 10s and 200 ones. 220 10s are the same. They're equivalent. They're equal to each other. They are the same. 220 10s are the same. Just like 200s and 201s are also the same. So let's look at this. It says see and show. We're on page 296. Put my crayons away. Page 296. There we go. So some room here. Got my book out. 296. And look, this is just like the one ahead. One up here. I have 110 10s because 10 10s make 100. And 100 ones. I have 110 10s and 100 ones. Now I have 1, 2, 3. I have 300s. And if in 100 I have 10 10s, I wonder how many I have in 300. So I know I have 10 and I can count. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 10s gives me another 100. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 300s gives me 30 10s. And then if 100 ones gives me 100, I got to add 100 3 times. So 100, 200, 300. 300. All right. And then write how many 10s and how many hundreds. So 500s. Look, I'm just going to see. Look, this is, I got to think about this in my place value chart. I have 500s, not 0 10s. I actually have 50 10s. I have 50 10s and I have 500s. Same thing here. I have 60 10s. I count 10s 60 times to get to 600. And I have 600s. Now, on this next page, page 297, I want you to do that page, but I want you to get help from your grown-up or your siblings at home. Talk it out to them. Get some help from your grown-ups or siblings at home. And then, same thing on this back page. We'll do this first one together. It says, Sarah has a collection of coins. She puts them in 30 piles of 10. How many hundreds does she have? 30 piles of 10. Okay. So, this is what I'm going to do to figure this out. I'm going to do a little place value chart. And here is my 10s, right? I just got to put it in my 10s place. So I got to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't do that 30 times, but I know that 110 equals 100. So if 110 equals 100, 30 10s would equal 300. 300. It's again, do 15, 16, and write the math with your grown-up or sibling at home. And then your homework is going to be page 299 and through page 300. And we will have a check. We will have a check on Friday, so make sure you do that homework. If you have questions, send me an email or put it in the comment section, and I will help you. I will help you. Good luck. We'll talk more about this in class. Don't worry.